Hello and welcome to our podcast. It's called One Step at a Time. Um, and it's an introduction to the lifestyle of medical medium. And my name is Lou and I come from Melbourne, Australia. And this is my co-host.
And I'm Catherine. I come from Northern New York in the United States.
And we'd just like to share with you how each of us came to learn about the medical medium. So, Catherine, you have the floor.
So how I came to medical medium was it was back in 2020 and I had COVID back in March. And after having COVID, I had a lot of symptoms pretty much ramp up. And back in November, I was struggling really hard. I couldn't really eat anything. I had a lot of digestive issues and I was struggling a lot. I had a lot of symptoms going on at this point, and I was really looking for anything to heal. I was trying a lot of different things, and I happened to start looking into health podcasts, and I got like a nudge or something, just kind of talked to me in my ear, like, "Oh, how about you check out your favorite podcast, The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes?" And so I ended up looking on his podcast and stumbled upon Anthony Williams podcast with Lewis Howes. And it resonated with me so much that on my 6 hour drive home, I listened to it on repeat and ended up stopping at the grocery store to buy bunches of celery to juice celery the next day because I knew I had a juicer, an old juicer at my mom's house. And the rest is kind of history since then.
So, my introduction to medical medium was several years ago now. I was contacted by a friend of mine who asked me over for a cup of tea, and I went over to her house. And while I was there, I already knew her history of having infertility for about 10 years, and her husband were trying to conceive and were having major problems. She had been diagnosed with infertility back in her teenage years after having a medical procedure that went wrong. And that day, she told me when I went to visit her that she was pregnant, which was amazing. Anyway, she then pushed a couple. She had a couple of books on the table, and she pushed them over in front of me, and said, "These are the protocols that I use to heal the infertility." And one of the books was the medical medium new book, like the his origins, and the other one was Life Changing Foods, also by medical medium. And so she said she wanted me to borrow the books and take them home and have a look. So I did. And that evening, I just flicked through the first few pages of each book, and those books just spoke to me. And I contacted my friend shortly thereafter and told her that I was returning the books to her because I wanted to buy my own. And for me, that was the start of an amazing journey. Just going to summarize now who the medical medium is for the people who have joined us and don't know who he is. His name is Anthony William, which is often shortened to AW, and he's known as the medical medium, which is shortened to MM. So at the age of 4, Anthony was at home having a meal with his family, his parents and his grandparents, sitting around the dining room table, and a voice spoke into his right ear and told him to go up to his grandmother and place his hand on her chest and say, "Breast cancer." And the young Anthony, oh no, sorry, it was lung cancer, wasn't it, Catherine? It was lung
Yeah, lung
cancer.
cancer. Sorry.
Yeah. And the young Anthony, who, at 4 years old, he didn't even know what lung cancer was. But he said those words, and it turns out that his grandma did have undiagnosed lung cancer. She had it later confirmed, medical diagnosis. So that was the beginnings of the medical medium. And throughout his childhood, the voice that he hears external to his right ear, he calls it, originally the name he was given, it was the Spirit of Most High, but Anthony calls the voice the Spirit of Compassion, and that's shortened to SOC. So he refers to SOC now. That's his name, the name of the voice. And this voice spoke to him all throughout his childhood into adulthood. The voice, SOC, taught Anthony how to scan bodies looking for any imbalances from a spiritual, physical, and emotional perspective, looking at all different types of diseases, teaching him about all different diseases and pathologies, and just everything to do with health of humans and beyond. And he consulted for quite a long time, quite a few years privately with people, and taught them how to heal from various ailments with chronic illness and other issues. And he also finally there was such a demand for his work that and his time, that he decided to write books on the subjects on all sorts of subjects. So I'll just run through the books that I've got here. I know Catherine's got some too, but the original book that he wrote was The Medical Medium, with the lungs on the front. You can see that there. So Medical Medium: Secrets Behind Chronic and Mystery Illness and How to Finally Heal. And the second book he wrote is Life-Changing Foods.
My personal favorite, I think. I don't know. They're all good.
Yeah. So Life-Changing Foods is save yourself and the ones you love with the hidden healing powers of fruit and vegetables. There's a lot of books here. The next book he wrote was Thyroid Healing. An amazing book that isn't just about the thyroid. He touches on all sorts of areas in each of his books. So they're very varied, but they are quite amazing books, very detailed about how the body works.
You should read what it says for the underneath the thyroid healing. Doesn't it have like the truth? Sorry.
Absolutely. So that's right. So thyroid, the truth behind Hashimoto's, Graves', insomnia, hypothyroidism, thyroid nodules, and Epstein-Barr virus. The next book is Liver Rescue, with the apple on the front, the red apple on the front. So the little blurb under Liver Rescue is answers to eczema, psoriasis, diabetes, strep, acne, gout, bloating, gallstones, adrenal stress, fatigue, fatty liver, weight issues, SIBO, and autoimmune disease. The next book, which maybe a few people have heard about, the celery juice. So Medical Medium is known as the celery juice man around the world, and he was the one that started that movement with SOC's help. So the powerful medicine the most powerful medicine of our time, helping millions worldwide. The next book is Thyroid Healing.
No, Cleanse to Heal.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I already said thyroid healing. The next one is Cleanse to Heal. This is a powerful book. Look at the size of this book.
Yeah, I know. This was the book when I started, this book kind of came out not too long after that.
Okay, cool. Healing plans for sufferers of anxiety, depression, acne, eczema, Lyme, gut health, brain fog, weight issues, migraines, bloating, vertigo, psoriasis, cysts, fatigue, PCOS, fibroids, UTIs, endometriosis, and autoimmune. And the next incredible book, which I think is one of Catherine's favourites, it's certainly one of mine, is Brain Saver.
It's so good. You have to read it. I don't want to say you have to, but it's worth a read for sure.
This book is it'll change your perspective totally on this incredible organ that we have up here. Okay, so this one is answers to brain inflammation, mental health, OCD, brain fog, neurological symptoms, addiction, anxiety, depression, heavy metals, Epstein-Barr virus, seizures, Lyme, ADHD, Alzheimer's, autoimmune, and eating disorders. And the next book is the accompanying book to Brain Saver, which is Brain Saver Protocols, Cleansers and Recipes. And this one is also another incredible book with recipes for the brain shock therapies, which, just... Where do we even begin, Catherine?
Yeah, I know. There's so much. You forgot one book. You don't have it.
What one is? Which? Oh, you've got it. Which one is it?
The Revised
and
Expanded. Okay.
The Revised and Expanded. Hang on, what's it say again? Oh, The Secrets Behind.
Yeah, behind Chronic and Mystery Illness and How to Finally Heal. I think it says it under the original as well.
Yes, it
right?
does.
Yeah.
So that's a little history of the medical medium. And now we are going to share, I'll get Catherine to share how Catherine and I met.
Oh, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a funny story, but it's just, so one of our mutual friends now, she had all these groups set up in Telegram, and on one of the big, I think it was the big LA like meetup or medical medium events Telegram group, and in one of the things was medical medium was doing a new event called at Calabasas, California, and Lou at the time, her her name was Quest Ion. And this person just had messaged in the Calabasas like section of the Telegram group, like, hey, I'm just looking for somebody to room with. Like I'm kind of coming last minute. And something kind of I got like a nudge or something like, hey, you should just reach out to this person. And in my head, I'm like, who is Quest Ion? I don't know who this person is. There's no like name, there's no pictures. But okay. So what I ended up doing was reaching out to the two people I was rooming with because we had an extra space to have somebody else room with us. And they were like, yeah, sure. They're a little hesitant because they didn't know who you were. So I ended up reaching out to you, and then I feel like kind of the rest is history because then we ended up all rooming together and it was really incredible.
It was. And just as an extra little bit, AW had announced earlier last year that he was doing a book signing. So I came over to LA for the book signing a couple of months earlier, like in June. And that event was a bit more, for me, it was more of a personal journey, and I didn't really connect with that many people in the community. I was more independent. And then I wasn't planning to go to the second event in Calabasas, but then I decided last minute to go. And that was when I reached out and asked if anyone had any space in their room. And that's when I ended up meeting up with Catherine and some other amazing people in the community. And we had only like 3 or 4 days in Calabasas and attended the event. And it was life-changing. And I mean that sincerely. It was
incredible. You
It
can't
really
put
was.
that event in words. I mean, I also went to the June book signing event, and that event was massive. I felt like for me that event was more about the community more than meeting Anthony William, whereas in Calabasas, it felt more like really getting to hang out with him a little bit and actually meeting him. So, yeah, that
It
event
was
really blew
incredible.
my mind so much.
It really was incredible. And I also, yeah, it was just such an amazing time. And since then, um, Catherine and I, since the Calabasas event, we've stayed in touch and regularly chatted
Oh, yeah.
online
We pretty much talk like every day, like video chatting, which leads us
almost
to
every
our
day.
other thing as to why we kind of started this group, because we talk about so much of this information that we kind of figured that why not we talk about like our experiences with with the information that we've talked about and share it with others around the world, just because it's pretty important. Each of our stories is they're very important for others to hear and others to help in whatever ways that they need. And so I think that's why
Absolutely.
we started this. We probably won't be all medical medium, but pretty much we will probably talk a lot about medical medium just because it's our lifestyle. Yeah.
It is. And and through the community we've met some other amazing people. And it's like
Goals.
um, there's very few places on this planet where you can feel like you truly belong and that you're not judged and people are not there's not that sort of mistrust. There's such a warmth and a welcoming and there's a lot of compassion for people and I blame AW for that.
Well, I don't know if you should blame him, but he's
I'm
the
teasing.
inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, we'll put that on him. He he's a very special human and he's helped a lot of people and with his books and with his message. And he's not the most conventional person. Hearing a voice in your ear, it might seem like that's a bit woo woo,
Might seem
but
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, but when I read his books, even though I'm still working my way through some of them, um, there's a clarity in those books that you won't find anywhere else in any other medical books. And I just want to also say, medical medium is not a doctor. He's never trained as a doctor, and he doesn't profess to be a doctor. He always says, you know, go to your doctor, take the information with you, get your doctor to check it out. So he's not making any false claims. He's just repeating the information that he gets from SOC, and it's powerful information. And the most incredible thing about it is he has helped a lot of people. And
It's incredible. You got like to see all the stories. There's a huge community of medical medium people on Instagram. So if that's how I originally kind of started finding people in the community was through his Instagram page because he reposts all these incredible healing stories. It's wild. And I remember back when I was first starting, like he would always happen to just post a lot of the things that I needed to see in that moment in time. And it was crazy. His information, it comes from above, literally comes from above. And like Lou said, it might sound crazy. And I don't know if I would have been drawn to this information if I wasn't struggling as much as I was and trying all
yeah,
these different things. And
yeah,
I remember the first thing that got me hooked on this was I did the morning, in my mind, the morning cleanse is lemon water, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie. And I completely had cut out like I literally cut out everything all at once. But what started healing first was my anxiety and depression. And I couldn't believe that. I didn't want to believe that eating this great food for me was healing my anxiety and depression that I've had my whole life and that I was on medication for a couple of years. So that is what turned the tables for me, 100%.
wonderful. And the other thing I want to say about medical medium is um, he has a website, medicalmedium.com, with there's a massive amount of information on that website, and it is all freely accessible.
Yeah.
And his books are, I mean, you can buy them at the bookstore, but also you could probably get them at the library, which he always reminds us. You can borrow them. Um, there's a lot of information that is free. So being able to access what you need is you don't have to spend a fortune if that isn't what you want to do. So find out the information, find out what resonates, and then go from there. And it's all about keeping it simple. And we'll do more we want to, have regular podcasts and discuss much more about the different protocols and everything.
Yeah.
But
We have like podcasts and meditations, and like Lou said, everything is pretty much free. You don't even need to buy the books because you can find all that information online. But the books are really incredible. Just holding them in your hands, just something about it.
yeah, and I will just add, because we're getting towards the end of this podcast, but I will just add that there are actually two more books coming.
Oh, yes, I meant to say that before we got off here, that we're so
Yeah,
excited about, and so many others are so excited.
yeah. These two next two books are they we know they're going to be profound. So there's sort of an anticipation in the community, an excited anticipation. But I think that's sort of pretty much summing it up for now, and that's why we're here. We're here to talk about the medical medium lifestyle and what it's done for us, and the incredible. Just life-changing experience it's been for us that we want to share. So that is it. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you, and we will see you whenever we see you next.
So thank you for watching our podcast. And just remember to always take it one step at a time. Bye.